Yeah, we're live.
हाय गाइस वेलकम टू साइबर टॉक्स विद साइबर जीआरसी। आज हमारे साथ जुड़ चुके हैं मिस्टर लव गुहार सर। हेलो सर, हाउ आर यू?
I'm good. I'm good, Vidya. How are you?
आई एम गुड सर। क्या आज हम क्या आप इंट्रोडक्शन देना चाहेंगे ऑडियंस को कि हम क्या डिस्कस करने वाले हैं, हाउ दे गेट दैट सेंस ऑफ नॉलेज, और क्या वो लेके जाने वाले हैं इस पॉडकास्ट से?
So basically, today's podcast is basically around third-party risk management, Vidya. This is one of the most critical aspects for from a third-party risk management perspective. This is one of the new topics as well, which people actually do not understand completely. And most importantly, I would say it is the need of the
ओके।
hour right now because अभी होता क्या है ना, in the industry, let's say I have a company, right? So I, as an owner of the company, I
यस।
as a management of the company, we are our main focus is actually to safeguard the organization, right? But we never thought that we need to safeguard the third party as well, okay, which is actually a part of our organization only, right? तो वो रह जाता है. So that is a very
यस।
critical aspect जहाँ पे companies are getting breaches हो रहे हैं, companies में data breaches हो रहे हैं, बहुत तरह के issues होते हैं वहाँ पे. So that is where today we want to raise more and more awareness around people, you know, and we'll stick to English only because our main audience is global. So we'll stick to English so that they also understand. So so
यस।
that is the main agenda today because we want companies to safeguard their third parties also along with safeguarding their own
या।
organization. That is the main agenda. Yeah.
Okay, so I would like to tell our audience that they can just comment below if they have any doubt, and we can move on to our first question. So my very first
Sure.
question is really basic question, that what's the basic misconception companies have regarding this third party risk management?
So, very good question, Vidya. So, basically, the main misconception that companies I have seen so far is basically they think that once they have onboarded the vendor, right? Once the vendor has been onboarded, once the vendor has been, inside the environment, there's nothing that needs to be done. Then they're already
Mm.
secured. Okay, that is a misconception that they have because actually, what
Okay.
happens is that once the vendor is onboarded, the real process of monitoring then starts because even if the vendor is onboarded, still you need to monitor the vendor, right? Like what exactly are they doing? Are they actually
Yeah.
accessing the right things or not?
Mm.
What kind of accesses do they have? Are you actually doing the risk assessment on them periodically or not? So these things are basically missed by people, which is a continuous monitoring aspect of the TPRM, which is really important. And this is what we teach in the trainings and in the courses that we actually take for TPRM because it is one of the important phases that actually companies skip.
Mm.
उनको लगता है they think
Mm.
that once they have onboarded the vendor, the entire thing is done, but that is not true.
Mm.
That is actually that there is actually how it starts. Actually, the process of continuous monitoring actually starts.
हाँ, can you just give us some points, मतलब short में, that how it could be done?
Simple, very simple. A very good question, Vidya. Again, so basically, how it can be done is that you can have periodic risk assessment. Let's say you have a vendor A, right? So what you do every
Yeah.
quarterly or after every 6 months, if it is a very critical vendor for you,
Mm.
so you basically do a risk
Mhm.
assessment again for that vendor just to see what has changed in the last 6 months, right? Because see, every business is
Yeah.
dynamic with their business change over time. It's not like
Yes.
one business is in 2025 will remain the same in 2026, right? It is never the case. So that
Correct.
is where a periodic risk assessment is one of the most important, I would say, a method for actually continuously, improvising the vendor performance as well as the vendor monitoring part, I would say.
Mhm. Okay, so let's move on to our next question. That is,
Sure.
why should an auditor or compliance professional even bother learning TPRM?
So that is the main question actually, because what happens is that when we audit our organization, okay, we audit the internal controls of the organization. For example, what all access controls do we have? What all different types of controls do we have? Right? We do that, but in that process, we skip the third parties. Okay, it is a very normal tendency. We try to
Yep.
safeguard
Okay.
our own house, right? We don't try to safeguard who is
Yes.
entering to the house on a day-to-day basis, right? It's a very common analogy I can give you. So that is where we need to pay
Yeah.
more attention actually. कि घर के अंदर कौन आ रहा है, that is the main part, right? Because otherwise, if somebody is able to enter the house, they have the full access, they can do anything, right? Same is with the organization as well. Very simple.
Yeah. Okay. There is one more word that is vendor management. People think it is really like similar to each other. Vendor management and third party risk management. Can you please tell us the difference between vendor management and third party risk management?
Yeah, again, a great question. So, vendor management is basically managing your vendor. For example, managing the vendor contracts, managing the vendor, performance, managing the vendor SLAs, managing the vendor, uh, over a period of time. Okay, it's called vendor management. But third-party risk management is entirely different. Third-party risk management is basically making sure how this vendor can harm my organization. That is my goal now in the third party risk management. What if data breach happens in
Yeah.
this vendor side, which tomorrow can come to my organization? That is now the approach in the third party risk management. Because again, this vendor is coming to my organization on a day to day basis, or even accessing my organization from outside on a day to day basis. So, how this vendor can actually cause harm to my organization? In case of a data breach which happens on their side. Now that is the mindset that we need to have now. That is the difference.
Yeah. So what are the early signs or early warnings that a company gets?
uh for what, Vidya?
Uh, I'm sorry. What are the some early warning that a company TPRM program is already filing?
Okay, so I think you're asking if a company's TPRM system is already failing. What are the early signs that they get? Like what are the early triggers that they
Yeah, I,
get over the time?
yeah, I, yeah, exactly.
Okay, good. So basically, what we can do in that case, if the TPRM process is failing, I would say the most important cause is the one thing that we've already discussed, is not performing the continuous improvement, over a time, because continuous improvement has to be done over a period of time. If you're not doing it, if you're
Mm-hmm.
basically neglecting the monitoring of the vendor, if you're not basically doing a periodic risk assessment, these are some of the areas which will actually create issues. These are the red flags that will cause harm later on for the overall TPRM system, right?
Yeah. Okay. Audience, should we move on to the next question or do we have some doubts? Please let
I
me
think
know in
there
the
is
comment
one.
section.
I think
Till
Vidya,
then,
there is one comment from Rahman, if you see, right?
okay. Just a second, let me see. Yeah. How would AI audit be different from traditional risk assessment? That is
Okay.
a good question, actually.
Yeah, definitely a good question, Rahman. And AI audit will definitely be different from a traditional risk assessment, because this is what I actually tell in my ISO 42001 AIMS batch as well. And recently, just ongoing with a very big batch of ISO 42001 AIMS, where actually we are dealing with a global
Mm.
audience, where we are actually delivering this ISO 42001 AIMS training. And how AI audit is different is very simple. AI has a set of life cycles, right? If you see AI, it is going through a stages. It goes through life cycle stages, and you need to understand and audit each and every stage of the AI. Okay, only then AI audit can be done. If you do not understand the life cycle of AI, if you do not understand the what are the parameters of a responsible AI, you can't audit AI. It's very simple, right? People are saying that you understand data and AI is built on data. If your data is secure, then your AI is secure. It's not like that. AI has its own set of life cycle stages. AI has its own set of parameters that you need to audit it on. Okay, so that is how it is different from a normal traditional risk assessment, where we actually focus on the data rather than the actually the machine learning algorithms, the machine learning uh, the models which are actually involved. Rahman, that is the main thing which is different. Okay, yeah, Vidya.
Yes, so basically AI is helpful in TPRM, but that person should also be that capable to understand that how it is important and how much it is, like till what percentage it is, right?
Right, right.
So let's move on to the next question, that is how small or mid-sized companies start TPRM when they don't have big budgets. I think
So
that's the most curious audience will be, right?
yeah, definitely. So budget is definitely one of the constraints for any organization. Vidya, I completely understand that. And simple steps would be to actually categorize the vendor, okay, into different risk tiers. Okay, you can actually categorize the vendor using vendor criticality. Okay, you can basically use a vendor risk registers and track the key dependencies that you have on these vendors. Okay, you don't need any fancy tools and all. You don't need to create the all the templates and all in the beginning. No. You basically need to have a practical framework where you can actually just start differentiating the vendors by the criticality and use a basic key risk register to basically track their key dependencies on your organization, and your organization dependencies on that vendor. That is how you need to do it, right?
Okay, one more question we have from Ketan Jain. How generative AI is useful for TPRM?
Generative AI is useful for TPRM. Ketan, I don't know how you want to relate these two, because these two are actually different in terms of context, right? Because generative AI is basically used to generate content. It could be images, it could be videos, it could be like Chat GPT, like where we actually get the outputs. Uh, I don't know how you want to use it in TPRM, but yes, what I think you are asking basically is that what if you get a generative AI from one of the service providers like OpenAI, who is actually giving us this platform, and then what are the controls that you can put on the generative AI from a third party risk perspective? I think that is your question, Ketan. So yes, for this particular case, basically you need to understand again what are the different life cycle stages of AI, what are the different parameters for a responsible AI. For example, you have many parameters like trustworthiness, fairness, accuracy, human involvement. Many parameters are there. So once you understand those parameters, you need to check the AI third party from those perspectives. So that is one of the areas that you can look into, Ketan.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. My second question, my next question is, कि, what kind of template or tool does TPRM course include?
The course that we actually teach in CyberGRC. You're talking about the
Yes.
course that we are training. Okay, the training that we are providing. So
Yeah.
basically, what we do, Vidya, it's actually a
Yes.
very good question. And okay, Ketan says yes. Thank you, Ketan. So basically, what happens is that we follow life cycle approach for any third party risk management. Right? We start with the on. We don't start directly with the onboarding, because normally companies start with the onboarding.
Mm-hmm.
What we do is that we start with the planning, like
Okay.
why exactly you need a third party, what is the business objective, what is the service or what is the deliverable that you want from the third party. First of all, you need to decide that. It's not like you want to just hire anybody for anything, right? You need to define the business objective first. So that's how we start. We
Yeah.
start from the beginning itself, and then we make them understand how to create business case templates, how to create all the requirement first for the third party. Because see, until and unless your requirement is critical and it is clear, you can't have a right third party, right? It's very simple. So that is where we actually
Mm.
start the process, and then we take it forward to the next step, which is the due diligence part. We understand, okay, which the third party is good. What are the parameters that we can check the third party on? For example, what is their financial liquidity? How much time are they serving the customers in the past years? Who are their clients currently? All these things we basically check, and all these templates we basically provide to the learners. For example, any contract related templates, any templates related to the due diligence checklist we provide. So complete life cycle related templates, each and everything from a policy, third party risk management policy, to the end where we see the offboarding template from starting to the end. We completely give all the templates with there.
Okay. So, why this usually happens? That why don't company plans all these things
About
from
awareness,
the
Vidya,
beginning
because
itself?
yeah, it's a very good question what you asked. Basically, companies lack awareness because, as I said, companies think that okay, we have done the due diligence, now we have hired the right vendor, now he's in, now he's doing his job, it's okay, let him be there. But then what
Mm-hmm.
happens is that years
Okay.
pass, okay, like 1 year passes, then you renew the vendor, then next year passes, and in this cycle what happens is that we basically start establishing trust towards that vendor, and we don't periodically monitor the vendor actually, which should be done actually, because we think that this is the right vendor that
Yes.
we have got. It's like hiring an employee,
Mm-hmm.
right? You hire the right employee, thinking that yes, this is the employee that I wanted and I have got it. But if you do not do the performance
Yeah.
appraisals, if you do not do a periodic assessment of the employee, the performance definitely will start gradually going down. So this is the area
Yes.
where
Exactly.
awareness needs to be brought from the organizational perspective, and as to why third party is so important. And again, until and unless somebody would understand the life cycle of a third party, it's very difficult to know how it exactly it works. Because for anything to understand, you need to understand all the stages first, and all the stages basically drill down in the life cycle approach only.
Okay. Done. So my question is this course a theoretical course or a hands-on?
Uh, this is a very good question, Vidya. Basically, any course that CyberGRC has is completely hands-on, 100% hands-on. I myself sleep on theory. I'll be really
Yeah.
honest. If you start teaching me theory, I will sleep myself.
Okay.
So when as a trainer I am not comfortable with theory, how can I ask my learners to be dependent on theory? So basically, any course that CyberGRC has
Yeah.
is purely practical based, 100% practical. There is no slides, there is no boring stuff we
Mm.
bore you with. From day one, you'll be actually doing hands-on stuff, which is the beauty of actually, learning from CyberGRC.
Okay, sir. So who for whom this course is for? Like who can attend this course,
Yeah.
enroll this
So
course?
basically, yeah, they are basically auditors, compliance officers, cybersecurity managers, consultants who want to actually understand, rather than only ticking a checkbox in a checklist. Who actually want to understand how third-party risk management works. Why do we need to have a third-party risk management process? What are the life cycle stages? How exactly to govern a third party? If somebody is really interested, so that course is for them. This course is actually for them, because you actually understand it from in-depth perspective, rather than only hitting a checklist that okay, these are the parameters, these are the things that we need to check. But why are you following that checklist? Are you clear on that? And which life cycle stage is actually making you to follow that checklist is something which people lack actually.
Yeah, people mostly have this question nowadays that why they should attend this course only and why it is different from other courses. Like other companies are also offering such courses, but what is difference between them?
Great question, Vidya. And this is definitely one of the most important questions that people should ask when they join CyberGRC, because CyberGRC, as I said, is the only organization who is providing you all practical hands-on courses. Okay, there is no theory, there is no fluff, there is no slide, there is no boring stuff, I would say. Okay, if you really want to learn something practical, then come to us, I would say. If you're enjoying the slides, then go anywhere where you want, because we are not about slides, we are actually doing it practical, hands on.
If someone's listening now, how and when they can join our next batch?
So if someone is listening right now, 26th of October is the date when next batch is being announced. Okay, because we already had a batch starting 5th of October, but the learners said that because of the festive season, we want to now move it beyond Diwali. So basically, now it will be starting from 26th of October. Okay, we already have a lot of enrollments. So if anybody is watching, basically they can enroll right away, because as I said, already the batch is there, but only the dates have shifted. Now the new date is 26th of October for the third party risk management batch.
And how they can register for it?
They can call us directly. Our numbers are there. My number is there on my LinkedIn profile. They can call me directly. They can go to our website. The website is the cybergrc.com. They can put a inquiry there. They can do anything. They have our WhatsApp numbers also, WhatsApp groups also. Anywhere they can go.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. That was such an insightful discussion. I'm sure our listener must have now the TPRM as a whole new thing till now.
Right, right.
And
And
anyone, if
yeah,
have any question, they can still drop the question. Okay, yes, you were saying something.
yeah, Vidya. So great session. In fact, I also enjoyed a lot of questions. That you asked by yourself, because all the questions that you asked actually are the day-to-day questions that people have actually in their minds, but they are actually afraid of asking them, on the live, because they think that how will the trainer respond, or how will somebody, but it is a good thing actually. Whatever questions that you have actually asked today are some of the questions that definitely anybody who is actually thinking about third party risk management would have in their minds. Okay, so thank you so much, Vidya.
Yes, exactly. And people can now join us live 9 to 10 p.m. I'm sorry, 9 to 10 a.m.
9 to
You
8 a.m.
can
Yeah,
join us and ask everything and yeah, AM. And whatever doubts you have, you can ask us. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us and see you tomorrow at the same time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
thank you.